When an artist evolves over time, it can often lead some fans of their early work feeling left behind. With over 15 years of time to release music, specifically in the instrumental, drum and bass, nerdcore hip hop categories, Carl Ultraklystron Olsen is not for lack of evolution. His newest release, Variable Undefined, is a far cry and journey from the albums like Revision 4920 and Open Source Lyricist. However, where other musical acts shift genre fully or lose their spark, this new album is an example of a strengthening of foundations that were always present in his music, evolving with time and experience to become rock-solid frameworks for synthetic, catchy, nerdy melodies blended with trap drums and grimy wave files. My name is Stephen Kelsey, and this is Nerd Music and Judgment, a Dying of Exposure series. Nerd Music and Judgment is a series where new releases from Nerdcore Hip Hop, Chiptunes, Geek Rock, video game music, and other fandom/fringe musicians will be reviewed by me, a fellow dork. Our first episode features Variable Undefined, the newest album from Northwest Nerdcore artist Ultraklystron. While I want to discuss the tracks of the album, the standout fact of the LP is the consistency of tone, presence, and feelings of the work. Ultraklystron produces, sings, and raps over his own tracks. This album has no features, no guest verses, and no production outside of him. It is short at 10 tracks over roughly 25 minutes, multiple of which come in just shy of 2 minutes long, and no song breaking 3.5. Mechanically, it appears to be short songs about specific aspects of a similar mental state, moving forward. This album starts with The Bluntly Honest Friends, where Ultraklystron describes escaping a place of false commercial exchange friendships by crossing a river and getting out of the city. The stinger on this track is in the chorus with the "no new friends and no old friends, in my feelings so alone cannot pretend," where the expression isn't something as simple as moving on to better people and better relationships, but escaping to solitary, even if that solitude isn't desired. The upbeat and hopeful energy of the instrumentation further expresses that this is supposed to be a positive life choice, even while the lyrics reveal that it may remain a lonely choice, and a hard one to have made. The follow-up track, Subtext, is a much darker instrumentation with a bright top end and a lot of rapid hats that layer on each other on top, and deep grind low end that will appear repeatedly in this album. The song subject is about SSSS Gridman, but plays more like a relatable track about not being able to relate or recover with society. It's a song about the troubles of being a creative, or maybe just an introvert. It is starkly different from Friends, while holding on to the reflective nature of the whole piece. Bonus points as well for writing about a property and not simply acting as a book report on that property, a common issue with nerdcore hip hop and geek music in general. Belle Delphine, the third track of the album, is a nice blend melodically of the first two tracks, but the importance lies in the message. As the shortest song on the album, it crystallizes both the initial reaction and the follow-up analysis of the internet, and general population for that matter, and their tendency to celebrate and pursue things on sexualized and fetishized levels, and not as people. It both describes the result of what those who seek to stream and create and connect have to do to attract an audience, and how underwhelming and disappointing it is that that audience responds. This is hands down my second favorite track on the album, for concisely delivering this judgment upon the World Wide Web going audience. Haunting Me and Laced Up both pair as an evolution of missing those behind us, whether deliberately or not. Whereas Haunting Me comes in with a groove that's an easy rhythm to nod to, with a taste of major melodic turn in the chorus for a hint of positivity, Laced Up grinds down further. The pair of tracks should be listened to together as they live in the same place both emotionally and in a listenability matter. The chorus of each song is a standout hook. It feels like Haunting Me is the recognition of loss and absence and those people we were once connected to, and Laced Up is the wearing down of that feeling never leaving. Like all good albums, the sixth track, the middle track, is a break in the emotions handed to you so far. Rapid Eye gives you that break while essentially still remaining couched in the theme of moving on, moving away that the whole album embraces. It is the best song on this album in my opinion. The beat drives simple with grime on the snare/slaps, grime on the bass, and big roomy synths. The delivery on this verse has a classic trap feel, and the chorus is top shelf. Rapid Eye alone would justify this whole album. Moving on from dreams and acknowledging that what you have done and what you can do, rather than what you wanted, is the best reflection of memory. Outcomes directly responds to Rapid Eye, acknowledging with the words in the chorus that best of all the outcomes can leave you at the end still without one. This understanding of recognizing the warm melancholy of the past as something that remains in the past is so bittersweet, it honestly moves me as an audience to the personal journey of Ultraklystron. I knew him in the days of lanyards and stale pocky, and I'm glad to still be able to experience him now as a person with a past defined by choices made and released. Retiree and Gaming in Kyoto, in the same vein as the album as a whole, appear as each side of a coin of development and personal growth. A person ages past their first expressions and addictions to fandoms and moves forward. Where Retiree bangs with big thumps, drums, synths, with a whole lot of space and dark tones throughout as a person walks away from the trappings, Gaming in Kyoto is a night of gaming set totally in an evening metropolitan feel of instrumentation. The tone here is so important, and the pairing of them shows that, while the whole of life is no longer defined by anime, manga, gaming, and geeky exploits for Ultraklystron, the passion still lives there in the moments captured in adulthood of these interests that defined our younger selves. The final track, Shadows of My Heart, is another personal expression told through the fandom of O Maidens in Your Savage Season. Here's where Ultraklystron leaves you with a familiar higher synth, but the low grime here is with deliberate wide key hits on a piano. This song is similar to the rest of the album, while being an evolution of the subject. As the last track, it feels like turning away from the past and introspection of what was, and looking forward, how to move forward. This closes Variable Undefined perfectly. So we have a deeply personal nerdcore hip-hop release from Ultraklystron more than 15 years past his first release. It plays start to finish like a confession of personal realization, and in that, growth. The music has grown, the production has grown, the style has grown, and where Ultraklystron avoids attempting to match particular artists of the day, the influence of modern synthwave, trap hip-hop, sludge, and even a hint of mumble rap song structure can't be ignored. The album lives couched in post-production, including auto-tuning through nearly all of the vocals on it. I hesitate to treat this deeply personal album with the disrespect of a simple score or grade, but I recognize the need for an audience of listeners and readers to understand how it might rank, however different it may be in comparison to other nerdcore hip-hop of today. With that in mind, assuming you can accept an album that isn't chock full of fandom, but balances it more lightly against the heavy themes and emotions of the artist that made it, I give Variable Undefined a B+. It lives in the production tenets that modern hip-hop has today and recognizes both the evolution of the artist and the evolution of the music they enjoy. The delivery on the verses can come across as a bit simplistic and similar track to track, but the tracks all feel of a piece, and the song links reflect an awareness that this album is not about flow tricks and schemes, it is about honesty. Thank you, Ultraklystron. It was a moving piece and has given me a few favorites to listen to in my own personal nerdcore hip-hop playlist. This has been Nerd Music and Judgment, a Dying of Exposure series. My name is Steve, and if you would like more information on this album, where to listen to it, and to purchase it, you can check the links in the YouTube below, as well as some of the fandoms some of the songs were inspired by. More on Ultraklystron through his website, ultraklystron.bandcamp.com, where you can find a decade and a half of music, nerdcore hip-hop, drum and bass, and mobile device instrumentals. Remember to like and subscribe and follow us on YouTube, as well as sign up for notifications on the website dyingofexposure.com.